Good morning, everyone. I'm going to give you guys a couple of seconds to join me before we start this live. What's up, everyone? How are you all doing? Before we start, can someone let me know in the chat box if you can hear me and if you can see me? Hi, everyone. All right, looks like we are ready and live. Sorry, it's been a minute, so I had to just make sure you guys can see me, you guys can hear me. I do have the chat box open. Do say hello to me in the chat box, you guys. I apologize for the delay. It's been a while, like I said, since we've done these lives. Let me say hi to you guys first. I have Evelyn. Hi, Evelyn. I have Fayez, Himanshu, Cameron, Jatindra. All right, looks good. Technology did not fail us today. So I hope you guys are doing good because I haven't done a live in a while and I thought, you know what, I need to get back to it. I've been focusing a lot more on the audios, which have been going amazing. And I really like that. But the only thing is that I don't get to hear from you guys enough. So I thought today would be a great day for me to do a live. It's the start of the month and I have lots to share with you guys. So the best way to do it is this way. Hi, Omar. Hi, Sarab. Hi, Sophian. Hi, Shaker. So we're going to get started on today's live. And by the way, if you don't know who I am, my name is Maria Malik. I am a corporate speaking coach, and I help introverts overcome their fear of public speaking, give amazing presentations, really excel at impromptu speaking, and so much more. So if you're an introvert, please say introvert in the comment section. And if you're an extrovert, say extrovert also in the comment section. I want to know who you are and I want to know where you are from as well. I love kind of just seeing where these lives take me. It's crazy how we can still do this and it's like broadcasted all over the world, which is insane to me still. So again, if you're an introvert, please let me know that you are an introvert. If you're an extrovert, let me know that you are an extrovert. So I wanted to get started very soon just because there's a lot to do. So we have a couple of introverts here, Jolene, Jalia, Pranjal, Sina. Great. All right, you guys. So today we'll be talking about how introverts should approach interviews. Yes, it's very different than the way that extroverts would do it. Extroverts, they're just great at a lot of different things. Us introverts, we have to be very thoughtful with the way that we process things, with the way that we do things because of that energy. Again, we need to maintain that energy. So we're going to get started on that. I want to talk to you guys about the things that you should be doing in order to make sure that your chances of success during an interview are the best that they could possibly be. So before we start, I do want to let you guys know that I'm seeing lots of introverts here from India, Long Beach. Great, awesome. So before we start, I do want to let you guys know that if you're an introvert, if you are having trouble with public speaking, if you want to get better, you don't want to be invisible anymore in the workplace, I do have an absolutely free, completely free masterclass for you guys on May 13th. So if you are interested in sitting down with me for an hour and a half live, learning from me and actually learning tips that you can start to apply right away and see lots of changes in the corporate world for you, then do sign up for the masterclass. The best way to sign up is go to my profile and you will see free live masterclass. Click on that, get on the list so that you get kind of like a notification when I go live on May 13th. Add it to your calendars as well. Again, it's a free live masterclass called How to Get Promoted Quickly. So if you're an introvert that wants to get promoted quickly, this one is for you. So again, go onto my profile, click on free live masterclass, and it will take you right there. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's get started. So we were talking about interviews. We were talking about how introverts specifically should do interviews because like I said, it is a little bit different. Now, I'm going to get one thing out of the way, which is kind of what everyone should be doing regardless if you're an introvert, extrovert, whatever you are. The number one thing is you do have to prepare. Okay. And I want to get that out of the way because this is something that there is just no going around. You have to prepare. You have to know what type of questions you're going to be asked. And everyone knows, I think by now, what type of questions are going to be asked. Tell me a little bit about yourself. What was a challenging situation you had once, and what did you do to overcome it? Things like that. So get those questions out of the way and write them down, because try not relying on your memory, you guys. That's kind of the worst thing that you can do for yourself. Write them down, prepare, practice, get yourself comfortable speaking, and get yourself comfortable speaking out loud, because sometimes when you speak in here and you think, okay, yeah, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say that. And then when you actually put it into words, you're like, wait, this is not how I remember it, not how I thought I would sound like. So practice it out loud. Try practicing in front of another person. It makes a world of a difference. That was the one thing I just wanted to get out of the way. And that's for everyone. There's no beating it. You have to practice. That's just that. No way around it. Now let's actually get into the things that specifically introverts should do. So we all know, as an introvert, your energy level is very low, or you start off beginning of the day, you have higher level of energy and it slowly depletes as you go on throughout the day. So if you're an introvert, if you have interviews coming up, you have to manage those interviews accordingly. So that means do not do more than one interview a week. And I know for some people, especially if you're looking for a job, you're like, wait, what do you mean one interview? That's it? I need to do more. But the problem with that is, if you're going to do, let's say, 2 or 3 interviews a week, you're really going to deplete that energy and you're going to exhaust yourself by the second one and the third one of the week. So you want to show up as your best self. Your interview is that one time for you to shine and show the hiring managers, this is what I'm made of. This is what I'm capable of doing. So you have to be your best. And if you're doing 3 interviews a week, you're not going to be able to show up as your best. That's just how us introverts are. Extroverts, go ahead, do 10 interviews a week if you need to. You guys would probably do amazing at them. But as an introvert, that's just not happening. So limit yourself to just 1 interview a week. Don't do any more than that, okay? The other thing is that 1 interview that you have during the week should be early in the morning. Do not interview at 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Anything after 12 p.m. is a no-go. Make sure your interview starts at least at 11 a.m. Because again, as an introvert, interviews are overwhelming, especially if you find that they're draining. And to be honest, who doesn't find interviews draining? You're sitting there, you're talking, you're letting out all your energy. You're pretty much saying, please, please hire me. I'm going to be great for this job. That requires a lot of energy. And remember, going back to energy, introverts, we don't have a lot of it. So plan accordingly, and also plan for some downtime after the actual interview as well. So don't go interview and then go back to my job and now I have to do this and now I have to do that. You're going to exhaust yourself. You're not going to look forward to the next interview. So space it out. 1 interview a week, early in the morning, and take out at least an hour or 2 later in the day so you can recover. And I know to extroverts, this might sound ridiculous, like you need to recover from an interview. Yeah, we do. Unfortunately, that's just how we work, and we need that recovery time. So please, that's the one thing that I want you to take away from this. If you're an introvert and you're interviewing, do this one thing at least. We'll talk about some more, but I do want to know in the chat box, how many of you guys are actually interviewing? Are you interviewing? Are you thinking about interviewing? Say yes in the chat box. If you're someone that maybe wants to start interviewing, or you're currently in the interview process, let me know. I want to know who you guys are. So let's see. I'm going to give you guys a second. I think there is like a little bit of a delay. When I speak, it takes a few seconds for you guys to see it, and then the responses come in. So I'll give you guys a second, but I want to know who you are. Are you interviewing? Okay, Vincent, there you go. I have Vincent that's interviewing. Vincent, I hope you find this helpful. We're going to talk about a lot more things as well. So these lives are usually 30 minutes long. I try not to take up too much of your time. I have Anusha. Okay. I also have Mohammed. I have 2 Mohammeds, Naveen. All right, good. Okay. And if you're not interviewing, by the way, can I also just say this? You should still be interviewing, even if you're not looking for a job. Use that as practice. You guys, I used to do this all the time because I was not good at interviews and I wanted to get better. So even though I was happy at my job, I wasn't really looking to move positions. I was still interviewing because I knew that I needed practice. So if you feel like, hey, this might be a job maybe I might want to do, apply for it. If you get the interview, go. If the worst that's going to happen is that you're going to gain some experience. Okay. So glad to see there's a lot of you guys that are interviewing. You know what's weird? I used to be able to see how many people are watching the live, and I'm not able to see that anymore. LinkedIn's always making a bunch of changes. So it's just interesting to know. So hopefully this is getting across to everybody. All right, let's move on. So we talked about really managing your interviews, making sure that you don't do them too late throughout the day and that you only do one interview. And we also talked about the basic, which is for everybody, practice. You need to practice your questions and your answers, do it out loud. That's just a no-go. You have to do that. And that's something everyone should be going. That's the bare minimum, the bare minimum. Now, again, if you're just joining me, I want to remind you guys, if you're an introvert, if you are, oh, thank you, Sufyan and Syed. You guys are letting me know how many people are watching. I can't tell anymore, you guys. I used to be able to tell. Thank you. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for letting me know. Mohammed, Anushka, and Syed. Okay, and I have a better idea of how many people are watching. Okay, so to anyone that's just joining me, just want to remind you again, I am hosting a free live masterclass where I'm going to do an entire presentation, teach you guys all of these great things, practical things to overcome your fear of public speaking in the workplace and to become a more confident speaker, especially if you're an introvert. So if you are interested in getting better in your communication skills, your public speaking skills, this is going to be for you. Do join my free live masterclass. It's going to be on May 13. So you can join by going onto my profile and clicking on free live masterclass. Do join the list. There's only 100 people that I can take in. So make sure you join now so that you can secure your spot. Okay. All right, let's get on to the next thing. Now, the next thing is, and this is something that we're already very good at, and we're going to talk about two different things. So as an introvert, we do have strengths, okay? And we have strengths that are actually very, very valuable to the corporate world. So some of those strengths are that we're great listeners, we're really, really good critical thinkers, and we are great at problem solving. Of course, we sit there and we think and we process things so we can think of different ways, different scenarios in our minds. So that's going to make a huge difference. So I want you guys to start utilizing the skills that you already have as an introvert. Okay. So again, problem solving, listening, critical thinking, there are so many more, but these are the three that I want you to focus on because they're going to help you during your interview process as well. So you need to start highlighting these strengths during your interview and explain how that makes you a good fit. These are things that every company needs and wants in a candidate. Okay. So I know most of us think that, oh, who's going to really care if you have good listening skills or not? But you already have our friends, the extroverts that do a lot of the talking, and we're not competing here. We're not trying to compete with other people. I want you to utilize and use the skills that you already have because we're already good at these things, you guys, listening and really understanding what the problem is before we actually take action, right? So utilize those skills and show the other person, show the hiring manager that this is what I'm good at. This is what's different that I bring to the table. So forget about, oh, I'm great at presentations, or I can do this really well and I can do that really well. Focus on these. I really take my time listening and understanding what the problem is before I proceed because I want to make sure that I do something once and that I do it correctly instead of trying and failing and trying and failing. An answer like that is going to take you much, much further ahead. Okay. So that's one. Now, the next thing is, as an introvert, because we are great at one-on-one interactions, interviews are actually great for us because most interviews, not all, are done one-on-one. So if you're lucky, I know sometimes you have to go through a panel interview, which honestly is the worst, but if it's one-on-one, as introverts, we are great at that. We are so good at building those genuine one-on-one meaningful connections. So that first connection you should be trying to build is with that hiring manager. Okay. And this is great because you're getting that one-on-one time. It's just you and the hiring manager. You're sitting there. It's like, all right, let's build that connection. That's the first thing that you should do with that hiring manager. Okay. So when you're building this connection, I want you guys to utilize another thing that we do really well, and that is asking thoughtful questions. I know I'm a little bit all over the place, but I just keep thinking of, oh my gosh, and you have to do this and you have to do that. But you need to ask thoughtful questions because that is going to show a lot about what's going on in here for you to the hiring manager. Okay. So I do want to give you guys some examples of questions as well, because I think thoughtful questions is such a vague term for different people. And I want to give you guys examples. So if you want to write them down, especially if you're interviewing right now, ask at least 3 of these questions. Okay. So again, you need to start taking advantage of your strength by preparing a list of questions to ask the interviewer. And these need to be good questions. Don't just throw questions out there. Okay. And these need to be questions that are really going to engage and show that you're interested in this position. So I'm going to give you guys some examples of questions you should ask. At least ask, like I said, 3 of these during the process. Okay. Let me give you guys some examples. I have 6 written down. Number 1, this is a question that you can ask. What are long-term goals and objectives for this position, and how does it fit into the broader goals and objectives of the company? Okay. That is one. I'm going to repeat it one more time. What are the long-term goals and objectives for this position, and how does it fit into the broader goals and objectives of the company? The reason why this is a great question and it's a very thoughtful question is because you're showing the interviewer that I want to make sure I fit into this position and this position fits into the whole goal and the whole idea of this company, because every company has its core values. So you want to show them that you are someone that's actually thinking long term and you're not just here for a year or 2 and you're going to leave. Okay. So that is one thing that you absolutely want to do. You want to show them that, and you can do that through this question. Question number 2. How does the company foster a positive and supportive work environment, particularly for employees who may be introverted or prefer to work independently? Okay. I'm going to repeat that one more time, then I'm going to tell you why this is a very good question to ask. How does the company foster a positive and supportive work environment, particularly for employees who may be introverted or prefer to work independently? The reason why this is a great question is because you're already telling them, hey, I am a little bit more of an introverted personality, so I want to make sure that I'm going to fit in. And companies want to see that. They want to make sure that you are actually genuinely interested in this position. So by you asking questions that say that, hey, I want to make sure that this is going to be a good fit for me, you're showing them that you're serious about this position. Okay. So that's a question that you can ask. You guys are with me so far? Everyone with me? I hope you're writing these down, and you can always message me later. If you don't get all of these, message me later and I'll try to send you some of the questions. But we talked about 2 so far. What are long-term goals and objectives for this position? How does it fit into the broader goal and objectives of the company? And then we had, how does the company foster a positive and supportive work environment, particularly for employees who may be introverted or prefer to work independently? And you can change the question so that it sounds more natural to you. Okay. Thank you, Jagdesh and Mohammed, for letting me know that you guys are still here and listening. Okay. Next one. Can you describe a typical day or week in this role, and how much interaction with colleagues or clients can I expect? That's, again, it's thoughtful. It's not those generic questions that most people ask. You want to make it a very thought-provoking question. This is really going to make them think and give you a long answer. I know that most people think that during an interview, you have to be the one doing all of the talking, or you have to just sit there and explain yourself. It's an interview. It's just as much the company getting interviewed as it is you getting interviewed. Remember that. You want to make sure you're putting yourself in a good situation. You're putting yourself in a job that you're actually going to enjoy. And yeah, I know my dog. he's 2 years old. He's just sleeping, for the person mentioning Caesar. Okay, so that's the third one. Another one that you can ask is, how does the company encourage professional development and growth, and what opportunities might be available to someone in this role? Okay, and if you're just joining me, we're talking about asking thought-provoking questions, something us introverts do very well already. So that's another one. Can you describe a typical day or week in this role, and how much interaction with colleagues or clients can I expect? And then we talked about, how does the company encourage professional development and growth, and what opportunities might be available to someone in this role? Are you guys writing these down? Let me know if you guys are writing these down, because I know they're a little bit long, but I want you to reword it so that it sounds natural to you. Okay? That's another one. Let's talk about one more. Can you tell me more about the team that I'll be working with and how they collaborate and communicate with one another? That's another one. So that's one that you want to ask. Make sure that you're showing them that you actually care about this role. You want to be here long term. So these are things that are important to you. And listen to their response as well, because they're going to tell you a lot through their response. And again, as introverts, we're great at listening, right? We're great at listening. So when you listen for any red flags. If they say, oh yeah, this role, there isn't really any structure, this and that, that's a red flag. It's like, what do you mean there's no structure? What have people done in the past? Have they been successful? And then that's how you get that conversation going, right? I mean, don't ask it that way, but these are just some things you want to think about if that's the response you're getting. So that is one. Another one is number 6 is, what are some of the most important qualities or skills that you're looking for in a candidate for this position, and how will you assess those during the hiring process? I'm going to repeat that one more time because it was a long one. What are some of the most important qualities or skills that you're looking for in a candidate for this position, and how will you assess those during the hiring process? Okay. Very important question, because with this question, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are someone that would actually be good at this job, and this is something that you would actually want to do. And the other thing is, they will tell you, oh, yeah, we're really looking for someone that is a great public speaker. And let's say you are a great public speaker, boom, now you can work off of that. Or let's say that, we are looking for someone that is going to be a great fit for the team. Okay, well, what does that look like? Who is that type of person? What is the team? How does the team work right now? So it's going to create that conversation going. And if that interview has gone over time and now you are there for an hour versus half an hour, that's a good sign. That means they're actually interested in you. That means, okay, if this interview kept going, that means there's a lot of genuine interest there. Okay. I love how you guys are telling me how many people are watching. Majid says 131. Thank you, you guys. I can't see it anymore. I don't know why. Like, LinkedIn is they keep changing a bunch of stuff. I know, Helena, that is a long question, but you guys, like, you got to ask these questions. Eric, I think you're watching from YouTube. This should be on my YouTube, and it's also on my LinkedIn. So Eric, if you don't follow me, do follow me on LinkedIn. That's where I post most of my content. But by the way, you guys, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat box, and I'm going to get to those in just a second. So if you're just joining us, again, I want to remind you, we're talking about how specifically introverts should approach not public speaking, sorry. I talk about public speaking a lot. How introverts should approach interviews, just because it's a very different than than the way that extroverts do them. And I'm going to do a quick recap so that you guys get them down. If you've missed anything, Sina, you wrote down all 6 questions. Awesome. If you missed any of the questions, this will be recorded. Just go back and watch it. And you can also message me if you've missed anything. I'd love to send that over to you guys. So again, I will be taking on some questions. If you have any questions, drop them. Vincent is asking, can you repeat question 4? Yes. Question 4 was, how does the company encourage professional development and growth, and what opportunities might be available to someone in this role? The reason why this is a great question, again, I'm going to repeat it one more time. I think I went too fast there. How does the company encourage professional development and growth, and what opportunities might be available to someone in this role? The reason why this is an awesome question to ask is because you're indirectly telling the hiring manager that if I take this job, I'm going to stay here a while and I want to make sure that I grow with the company. They don't want to hire people that are just going to be here for a year or two. They want to hire people that show interest in the job and that show that they want professional development and that they want to grow. So those are the key words there: professional development and growth. Okay. So you guys drop your questions. I think there were a couple here. So I'm going to try to go back to a couple of your questions and then we'll do a recap. So we'll go over everything if you've missed anything. Araful is asking, what are your thoughts about sharing business projection and opportunities an interviewee can present with PowerPoint? Okay, so I think what you're asking, and correct me if you're wrong, Araful, I think what you're asking is, should we have like PowerPoint presentations during the interview? If I'm not correct, please let me know, but I'm going to assume that that's what you're asking. So if it's a business presentation, I think it's a great idea. PowerPoint presentations are good if you're going to do them properly. I've seen people do presentations where I was like, what was the point of that? You could have just told me this stuff. So if you actually have numbers to give, if you actually have statistics to show, then yes, it's a great idea, especially if it's a business type of interview. Okay. It depends on what job you're applying for as well. If it's just an entry level position, I don't think you need a PowerPoint presentation. If it's going to be something where you're really going to show your previous work and you can't just talk about it, then absolutely do a PowerPoint presentation, but make sure it's effective. Okay. Because you don't want to go in there you don't want to, it shouldn't be an overkill either, where you have this grand presentation where it wasn't really necessary. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, and I hope that was really what you were asking, Arful. Robin's asking how to handle changing careers and age issues. So, Robin, do you mean changing careers? Like if you change a career, how do you handle that? So, if that's what you mean, let me know. If it's not, please correct me again. I don't know what you mean by age issues. I think, but I'm going to try to answer this the best that I can. So how do you handle changing careers? Let me tell you this. I have changed my career plenty of times because when I first started working, I just got into a career. I worked in the insurance world. Didn't really want to do it, but just like most people, I didn't know what I was doing at the time. When you just graduate, you just kind of go with the herd. Like whatever everyone is doing, you start doing that. Started working in the insurance world. I thought that, hey, this is it. And there's nothing else out there. So I just tried to get better and better. Didn't like it. So one of my kind of dreams was to work for a university. And how did I change careers? I'll tell you how. And I'll tell you something that I did that was very effective and that worked out beautifully for me. So even though when I went into a new job with a different kind of career, I had no experience in that career, right? But what I did have was I had developed all of these skills and all of these experiences that I knew would still help me in that job. So I applied for a role that was a little bit more entry level. You do have to kind of start there, but the great thing is you can move up very quickly. So I started with an entry level position, and after I did that for a year, I started talking to my boss and telling her, hey, you know what? I've done all of these things in the past. I think it would really help me with X, Y, and Z role. And I showed her and I proved myself during that year. And that's why it was so easy for me to jump to a much higher position in a different career, but still make, I was able to get like a much higher salary. It was something that I actually wanted to do. So if you're thinking of changing careers, don't think of it as I'm starting from scratch. That's what I'm trying to say, because all those years that you've worked, whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20, you're still taking all of those skills with you to that next job. So don't think of it as I'm starting from scratch. It's not from scratch. It could be a role that, hey, you think that maybe, I should be doing something higher up than this, but you can work your way up much faster. And I've done it. It works. I've seen a lot of other people do it as well. All right. Let's see if there are any other questions. How do you connect with an interviewer in an interview? Okay. So I guess what you're maybe asking is how do you build that connection that I talked about? So one of the things we talked about was as an introvert, we are great at building connections with people. So, and these connections are usually more meaningful. So what you want to do, okay, this is what you want to do. When you're in that interview with that other person, and hopefully it's one person, and this works better when there's one person because you can build a more genuine connection. You get to learn more, especially given the time that you have. So, what you want to do is number one, you have to get better at small talk. And us introverts, we don't like small talk, right? Most of us don't. And I know why. It's because it's like, wait, what is the point of this? But you have to start it off with small talk. So you need to get better with small talk. I do have some content on small talk and what you should talk about in general on my LinkedIn. So do go over that. But start with small talk, okay? That means during the small talk, you really want to kind of understand what is this person like, look for similarities between you and them. Maybe they have kids, you have kids. You can talk about your kids. So that builds a connection. And then the other thing that you can do is you want to ask the hiring manager what their experience has been like as well in the actual company. Hey, by the way, how long have you been at this company? Just out of curiosity, how long have you been here? Okay, do you like it? What are some of the things that you do in the job? When you start asking the other person about them, they actually like talking about themselves, right? As long as they're appropriate questions. So that's a great way to build connection. And also stay in touch with that person. So that means after the interview, you're going to email them. That means even before the interview, maybe email them a question or two. Hey, by the way, I know I'm coming in for an interview. Is there anything that you need me to prepare specifically before I come in? So email that person beforehand, ask them that question. All these little things that you're going to do with the hiring manager is going to build more trust, build a better connection, and then it'll be that much easier when you're actually in that interview. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. Okay, I do like that question, Artful. I'm going to get to that question, but I just want to repeat everything, kind of just do a quick recap of everything because in case anyone has to go, this is supposed to be around 30 minutes, but we've gone a little bit over. So let me go over everything one more time. And before I do, again, I want to remind you guys, if you're an introvert, if you really are serious about getting better at public speaking, at giving presentations, and you want to move up the corporate ladder, you want to get promoted quickly, then I do have a live free masterclass for you. All you have to do is go to my profile on LinkedIn. If you're watching this from YouTube, please find me on LinkedIn, Maria Malik, and go to my profile and then click on free live masterclass. When you click on that, it's going to take you to a page, fill in your information, sign up for the masterclass. You'll get an email reminder. And it's going to be a lot of fun, you guys. It's an hour and a half of me just explaining, showing you things. And it's going to be things that you can actually apply. So it's going to be a blueprint of what you can do to get promoted faster, especially as an introvert. So make sure that you join that. Again, it's on my profile. And I only have 100 seats. So make sure that you join. It's on May 13th. And I look forward to seeing you guys there. All right, let's do a quick recap. And then I'm going to answer one or two more questions. So again, if you're an introvert, if you are doing interviews right now, or you're thinking about doing interviews in the future, we have to approach interviews much, much differently. The first thing you want to do, which is a no-brainer, is prepare and practice. By the way, you can also go to www.theintrovertedspeaker.com. That's going to take you directly to the live masterclass as well. www. Oh my gosh, I'm having a blank here. www.theintrovertedspeaker.com. All right, so we talked about preparation. That's just something everyone has to do. Introvert, extrovert, whoever you are, you have to prepare. That means already knowing like what type of questions you're going to be asked. And we all know already what type of questions. Tell me more about yourself. Give me a challenge that you overcame. How do you work with the rest of the team? That type of stuff. That's a no-brainer. Practice out loud. Don't just practice in your head. That's the first thing. Number two, we talked about managing your interviews. That means only doing one interview at a time and doing them early on in the day. So preferably before 11. 11 should be your cutoff. If you can do them at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11, you have lots of options. Stick to those times. Okay. The earlier in the day, the better. And don't do more than one interview in a week, especially if you're already working and you have a full-time job. You want to show up as your best during that interview and you want to have the most amount of energy. That's why you're only doing one interview a week. Next is emphasizing your strengths. We have amazing strengths already as an introvert that you want to highlight. Listening skills, critical thinking skills, problem solving skills. These are all skills that every employer does want in their employees. Don't focus on the generic ones. These are things that us introverts are already great at. Talk about those more. Okay. Next is asking thoughtful questions. There are so many questions, so many things that we can talk about, but I don't want you to be generic with your questions. Don't just say something very generic like, what does this job entail? Like, that's something you should already know before going into the interview. You want to ask very thought-provoking questions. A couple of examples again. Can you tell me more about the team that I'll be working with and how do they collaborate and communicate with each other? Another one that I really like are, what are some of the most important qualities or skills that you're looking for in a candidate for this position? And how will you assess those during the hiring process? That is one. One more thing I want to tell you guys that I forgot to mention earlier that you should be doing is following up after the interview. I thought this was something that everybody did, but when I worked at Stanford and I was part of a hiring process for a couple of jobs, a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't do that. So if you do that, great. If you don't, if you're not following up after with the hiring manager, you should be doing that. And this is going to help building that connection, that one on one genuine connection with the hiring manager that, again, us introverts are already good at. So we want to work on the skills that we're already good at, right? So make sure you build that connection. And one way that you can do that is follow up after the interview. Send like an email, a thank you email, and let them know that you think it's a great opportunity and you are very interested in this position. And also, it gives you that chance to reestablish communication in case there wasn't good communication during that time. Okay. So, those are the things that you want to do when you do an interview as an introvert. Extroverts, you guys already got this. I don't think I need to tell you guys what to do. You guys are great at it already, and you guys approach things different. So I do want you guys to remember that being an introvert, it's not a weakness. It's absolutely not a weakness. I don't want you to think of it as a weakness. We have our own set of skills that we bring to the table and a lot of value. And these skills are unique. So it's our job to show the hiring manager that, hey, these are the things I'm capable of doing, and you have to be able to communicate it well. Okay. All right, let's answer a few questions and then I'll let you guys go. So we have one here from Pramod that says how to write good eye-catching CV. Oh, okay, how to write a good eye-catching cover letter. That's you guys, that's not my specialty, but someone I do recommend you over to is one of my friends, David. Pramod, can you send me a message after this? Send me a DM and then I will send you his information. He's really good at helping people create cover letters and resumes and all of that. Okay. So I'll send that information to you. All right. This is a great question. How to deal with a panel interview where one of the interviewer is really hostile and deliberately asking questions which is not even related to the job or my professional experience. Had these a few times. Okay. That does happen. I've experienced that as well. Sometimes people are just having a bad day. First of all, know that it's not about you. It has nothing to do with you. They don't know who you are. So, you coming in doing this interview, if someone's being hostile towards you, it has nothing to do with you. They're probably just having a bad day or they want to give this job to their friend. So, Devin, all right, let's go back to the question. So, what should you do? How do you deal with a panel interview where one of the interviewers is really hostile? So, what you want to do, first of all, you want to maintain your composure. So, if someone is hostile towards you and you start getting defensive and you're like, oh my gosh, wait, what? And you start giving them that same energy back, right away, they're going to know that, you know what? Something is off and it's going to show a bad side of you. So first of all, you don't want to do that, right? So you want to maintain your composure. And the way that you want to answer these questions, let's say he's asking you a question that's very direct, it's going to make you look like the bigger person if you say, wow, that's actually a really good question. No one's asked me that before just because the job that I do right now is very different from what you're asking. But if I had to answer, or if I was put in the situation, this is what I would do. So maintain that control, you guys. That's the most important thing that you can do during public speaking, during interviews, anytime you're communicating. Maintain that level of control. And if it is someone that's hostile, there are things you can do from your end, like saying, thank you so much for that question. Although I don't think it's related to my job or it's something that I haven't done in the past, if I was to do it, this is how I would approach it. Okay? Does that make sense to you? I hope that helped you. But if you are getting that, like, I know it sucks. It really, really does suck. But like I said, it has nothing to do with you. But the way that you approach this and the way that you answer this question is going to make a huge difference. So please make sure you're maintaining composure. Thank them for that question. I think that actually helps diffuse it a little bit more. Okay. Pramod saying, I am not able to join your masterclass. Pramod, can you just send me a message? You can also try going to www.theintrovertedspeaker.com. Someone was saying the price of my course. So, you guys, let me tell you something about the price of my course. And I wasn't really planning on talking about this today, but okay. So, the price of my course, I think you have to really see what you're getting for it, because right now what I do have is, I have the modules, I have 8 modules, and then you're also getting 12 live impromptu sessions. So I want you guys to start thinking of this as, instead of the price, like, how is this going to help my life? If you, let's say, for example, I'm just going to throw out a number. If you spent $1,000 on something, but that $1,000 gets you a promotion, right, at work, that's going to help you make $10,000 more a month. What is that $1,000 then, right? Or let's say that $1,000 gives you that confidence that you need in yourself to show up better at work, right? And to be more yourself and to be more comfortable and to be happier. What is that $1,000 then, right? When it comes to public speaking, especially for introverts, this is a quality, it's a lifelong quality, something that is going to stay with you forever. And no one can ever take that away from you. So if you're really going to see a transformation, which I guarantee you will, because I've been doing this a long time, I'm 100% confident in my course. And I know that you guys are going to love it. The response that I get is, hey, Maria, I feel so much more confident. Maria, I got that job that I've been trying to get for so long. Maria, I got promoted. Those things are priceless. They are priceless. So I hope that kind of, exactly, Robin. It's an investment in yourself and it's an investment for life. Okay. So I do want to say that to you. All right, you guys. So I am going to log off now. I do want to thank you guys all very, very much for joining me. I haven't done a live in a while. So thank you to everyone that's on here. Very appreciate it a lot. But I do want to also say that if you're an introvert, do follow me. I post lots of content. And if you have the time, if you're really serious and you want to make some changes in your life, get better as a public speaker, if you want to get promoted quickly, because that's something I really focus on, is getting my clients promoted, then do join me on my masterclass. Absolutely free. It is, I know some people are telling me, hey, I can't join because of my location. Unfortunately, I only have experience working in Canada, the US. I have a little bit of experience with the UK. So that's what I teach you guys. I can't teach you something that I haven't worked, like dabbled in or have experience in. That's why my master classes are specific to people in the US, UK, Canada, and for people that are in Australia. Okay. It's because I've worked with people in Australia and I've seen the system there as well. Okay. So do join the masterclass. Again, www.theintrovertedspeaker.com, or you can just go straight to my profile and click on free live masterclass. All right, you guys, we went way over time, but I hope this was helpful. And if you have any suggestions on what else you guys would like to see or what else you'd like for me to teach you guys, then do let me know. Pramod, what about India? So the people in India, I do hold a lot of free sessions, like my audio events. You should definitely join the audio events. They are every Thursday. We talk about a lot of stuff there. I have some of you guys come on and practice some things as well. So if you're in India and you can't join the masterclass, do join the live audio events. Okay. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Pramod. Thank you, everybody. And I will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.